Rain slid slowly down the tall glass windows of the luxury office building, turning the city lights into blurred streaks of gold and red. Inside the silent lobby, marble floors reflected the glow of chandeliers, and the air smelled faintly of expensive polish and fresh flowers. Security guards stood near the entrance, barely paying attention to the quiet evening. Until the door slowly opened, the tiny figure stepped inside. She looked no older than 7. Her small shoes were wet from the rain, her coat slightly too big for her thin shoulders. In her hands, she clutched a white envelope as if it were the most valuable thing in the world. Her dark hair stuck to her forehead, and her eyes searched the enormous lobby with a mixture of fear and determination. Point one of the guards noticed her and frowned. "Hey, sweetheart, are you lost?" he asked gently. The girl shook her head. "I need to see Mr. Alexander Hayes," she said quietly. The guard exchanged a confused glance with his partner. Alexander Hayes was not just anyone. He was one of the richest businessmen in the city, a man whose companies owned half the skyline. People waited months just to get a 5-minute meeting with him. "And why do you need to see him?" the guard asked. The girl slowly lifted the envelope. "My mom said he must read this. It's very important." The guard hesitated. Normally, he would have escorted the child outside immediately, but something in her voice, calm, serious, almost adult, made him pause. Upstairs, in a massive corner office overlooking the city, Alexander Hayes sat alone behind a long black desk. Papers covered the surface, contracts worth millions waiting for his signature. Yet he wasn't looking at them. He stared out the window, instead, a T-42. He had everything people dreamed of: wealth, power, influence. His name appeared on business magazines, news channels, charity galas. But the office felt strangely empty tonight. A soft knock broke the silence. His assistant stepped inside, looking slightly confused. "Sir, there's a little girl downstairs asking to see you." Alexander didn't even turn around. "I'm busy. She says it's very important." "So do most adults who try to see me," he replied coldly. The assistant hesitated. "She has a letter. She said her mother told her only you should read it." Alexander finally sighed and rubbed his temple. "Fine. 2 minutes." Minutes later, the office door slowly opened. The girl stepped inside, her eyes widening at the enormous room. The city lights glowed behind the man sitting at the desk. To her, he looked like a giant, tall, perfectly dressed, serious. Alexander glanced up, clearly impatient. "You came all this way to give me a letter?" The girl nodded. She walked closer, each small step echoing softly on the floor. When she reached the desk, she carefully placed the envelope in front of him. "My mom said you must read it." Alexander looked at the envelope. There was no company logo, no address. Just his name written in slightly shaky handwriting. For a moment, he didn't touch it. "Who is your mother?" he asked. The girl hesitated. "Her name is Elena." Alexander's hand froze. The memory flickered somewhere deep in his mind, a name he hadn't heard in years. But he pushed the thought away quickly. "Elena who?" he asked sharply. The girl shook her head. "She said you would understand after reading the letter." Alexander leaned back in his chair, studying the child. Something about her face felt strangely familiar. The shape of her eyes, the quiet determination. Finally, he picked up the envelope and opened it. Inside was a folded letter. The handwriting was delicate, but weak, as if written by someone who struggled to hold the pen. He began reading. With each line, the color slowly drained from his face. The letter spoke about 8 years ago, about a woman who had loved him more than anything, about a night when everything changed, about lies, betrayal, and a secret she had carried alone. Alexander's eyes moved faster and faster across the page. His breathing grew heavier. Then he reached the final lines. "My time is almost over. I never wanted to destroy your life or your success, but our daughter deserves to know her father. Please take care of Sophia." She is the best thing we ever created. The paper trembled in his hands. Slowly, he lifted his eyes and looked at the small girl standing in front of him. She watched him quietly. "Did your mother send you here?" he whispered. The girl nodded. "She's in the hospital." Alexander's chest tightened. "What did she tell you?" The girl looked down at her shoes. "She said if you read the letter, you would understand that you're my dad." Silence filled the room. For a long moment, Alexander Hayes, the powerful millionaire who negotiated billion-dollar deals without blinking, couldn't say a single word. His vision blurred that a tear slipped down his cheek before he even realized it. The girl stepped closer, worried. "Did I do something wrong?" she asked softly. Alexander quickly wiped his face, but it was too late. The letter trembled in his hands as 8 years of forgotten memories came crashing back. Love, betrayal, and a truth he had never known. That he looked at the little girl again, and suddenly, for the first time in his life, the richest man in the city felt completely helpless. "Crying face,"